Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're on to look at McFarlane's The New Batman Adventures Girls Night Out 3-pack. This is an Amazon exclusive gold label consisting of Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Supergirl. DC Direct released the original set about 10 years ago, and they're re-releasing them now. Originally, I bought this pack just to keep unopened because I have Poison Ivy in it for my Batman-related collection, and I never got one loose. Poison Ivy, I believe, was slightly different than the original release, but at the time I didn't consider her different enough to buy, and I didn't really want the other characters open. Now, I want them all. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Supergirl. The New Batman Adventures, Girls Night Out 3-pack, each is 12 plus. This is part of the Gold Label collection. A Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive, whether it be Target or Walmart. This Gold Label is an Amazon exclusive. Here they are on the package. We have a lot of hands, some display stands, an animation cell reproduction, and the only real accessory is some lightning for Livewire. On one side of the package, the three of them post up. Other side, three of their names. At the back, here are the three girls from the New Batman Adventures. And at the bottom, there's the barcode, if that helps. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And of course, I did get two of these sets, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. Alright, now that we have these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. Each of these ladies has a total of 6 interchangeable hands, a display stand, and an animation cell reproduction. The only figure that comes with any accessory worth a damn is Livewire with a sort of energy blast. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually, we'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other relevant action figures. So let's start off with my favorite, Poison Ivy, the Bat Rogue. Before I look at Poison Ivy, let's check out the non-character specific accessories. Here are their display stands. There are a total of 3 of them. They have a base that says The New Batman Adventures, and then a post, and then a little clamp to hold your figure at the top. Now in general, I'm not a fan of figure display stands. I think they look ugly and sort of take you out of the display or the figure. And these display stands are some of the worst ones ever. They have the base and this large piece that's going to clamp around your figure. Very noticeable. I would not want to have my figures displayed with these holding them up. And then we have the animation cell reproductions. Drop me a line in the comments below if there's anybody out there that actually wants these and cares about these, because I don't think there is. If it was an actual animation cell, maybe, but of course they can't mass market those in action figures. Personally, I'd rather them come with nothing than come with these and pay the same price. But I'm just curious what you guys think. Anyone out there that actually appreciates and enjoys these, let me know. We have one for Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Supergirl. Poison Ivy at the front from the New Batman Adventures. On the back, it has this little thing you can punch out and display it sort of like a picture frame. This is from Girls Night Out, Season 2, Episode 7, which is very confusing because this is Season 4 of Batman the Animated Series. There was only one season of the New Batman Adventures, so I don't know where they came up with Season 2. It should either be Season 1 of the New Batman Adventures or Season 4 of Batman the Animated Series. Then we have one for Livewire. You can see she has all of her energy or electric stuff going on above her. They're all from the same episode, Girls Night Out. And of course, Supergirl. Here she is talking to Batgirl. And Girls Night Out once again. So here's Poison Ivy. She's from the New Batman Adventures. They redesigned all of the Batman characters from Batman the Animated Series and made them look significantly worse in the Batman Adventures. Poison Ivy is very thin, skin is pale white, head is super overlarged, and the character just looks small, skinny, and the figure has really, really tiny arms and legs. It's really, really short, really, really giant head. So let's take a look. Starting with her head here, very large and exaggerated. It is almost forced to look down because it really can't go forward and back at all because the hair's in the way. Not sure why it can't go down. There's nothing in the way there, just a poor design. Looking at her face, looks like she has green eyes, dark green or possibly black lips, green outfit, pale white skin, single jointed knees, single jointed elbows, super thin arms and legs, but man, those arms are super tiny. Head is just so big and it kind of feels like it's hollow. Kind of feels like cheap plastic. Now typically, in my experience, McFarlane has an inferior paint job than the original DC Direct figures, but a little sturdier plastic. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. This version of Poison Ivy looks bored. Just looks like she's over it. The hair looks pretty weird from that side. The proportions are just way off on these figures. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as she can go with all of her removable parts detached. And now let's check out her accessories. She only has some extra hands, total of 6 of them, 3 right hands and 3 left hands. Here she is with her first pair of hands. These are her fists. And here she is with her second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. And then, with her third pair of hands, this is a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at her sides. Now they've taken a pretty good look at the figure and her accessories. Let's check out her height. And that is my biggest complaint about these DC Direct animated figures. They're far too small. They're supposed to be 6-inch scale, but some are considerably smaller than that. From bottom to the top of her head, standing at about 5.7 inches tall, which can translate to about 14.5 centimeters. And if you consider the top of the hair is there, the top of her head is probably about 5.4 inches tall. And for articulation, which is rather limited. Starting with her head, can sort of barely rotate her from side to side about this much. The hair just doesn't allow you to do more, and she can't go forward or back or anything else. Shoulders, literally, they go out this far. I'm not joking. That is it. I could push further, but I'll probably break her. Up all the way, down. She's got a single jointed elbow with rotation. Her wrists can rotate, and they are hinged. Torso is one solid piece, not even a waist swivel. Legs, complete as a splits, but my god, they look hideous like that. Look at that. That is just some horribly designed articulation. Forward, about that far. Back not much. Single jointed knee, does have rotation as well, at least it seems that way. Then the ankle, forward and back. Tilt, rock, no rotation, but there's a boot cut to offset that. Now let's check her out, next to some other Poison Ivy figures. Here is this McFarlane re-release 3-pack Poison Ivy, next to the original DC Direct, the new Batman Adventures, single-release Poison Ivy. Now when the 3-pack came out before, I only got it for my unopened collection, so I don't have one loose to compare it to. But the main difference is the green's a little darker on the outfit on the original one, and the skin is a little more green as well. And here she is, next to a couple of versions of Poison Ivy by DC Direct from Batman the Animated Series. I much prefer this look to the new Batman Adventures look. Here she is, next to a McFarlane DC Multiverse Poison Ivy, so I guess this animated Poison Ivy is McFarlane's second version they've released. And here she is, with a bunch more DC Direct and DC Collectibles Poison Ivy figures. Next, with some Mattel Poison Ivy figures. And now, next to a Mafex Poison Ivy. And finally, with an older Kenner Poison Ivy. Here's a look at all of my different Poison Ivy figures in a big group shot. Now let's look at Livewire. Livewire, I believe, was introduced in Superman the Animated Series, and then had this cameo in the new Batman Adventures. She has a total of 6 hands, a lightning effect, so let's take a look. Now I like the way she looks. The hair, the pale skin, the lightning bolt down the outfit. It's very similar to the comic version. Face looks good, kind of reminds me of Killer Frost a little bit. She has the same thin type body, although there's actually no reuse from Poison Ivy. Single jointed elbows, single jointed knees, thin legs, even thinner arms. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. It looks like it could be an ice woman, looks like it could be an electric woman, but she is based off electricity. I do really like the hair though. Sort of one of her signature looks. And then here she is, broken down as far as she can go with all of her removable parts detached. Now let's check out her accessories. Starting off with her hands. She has a total of 6 hands, 3 right hands, and 3 left hands. Here she is with her first pair of hands. This is a pair of grippy hands with a very small grip. And here's her second pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands. Could grab something kind of large. And here's her third pair of hands. This is a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at her sides. And here's her last accessory. This is really the only true accessory in the entire pack. It looks like it's a bunch of energy, electricity, or lightning, which is what Livewire does. Here's Livewire with that accessory attached to her hand, pointing the energy right at you. And then for her height, and she shares the same problems as Poison Ivy: too small, too thin, too brittle. From bottom to the top of her hair, about 5.2 inches tall, which can translate to 13 centimeters. And this is a 6-inch scale line, so I'd say she's undersized. And for the articulation, starting with her head, can rotate side to side. She can look up and down just a littlest bit. Can't really tilt her head. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Now as far as going up, they go about this far, then you kind of go out to the side to go further up because those giant sort of shoulder pad things. So arms don't really go higher than this. She's got a single jointed elbow with rotation. Her wrist can rotate and it's hinged. She's got no waist swivel. Legs go out just like Poison Ivy and look just as hideous. They go forward about that far, back not much. Single jointed knees with rotation, at least I believe. You know what? I don't think there is rotation. I think I'm just sort of moving around. The ankle, forward, back. No tilt rock, no rotation, no nothing. Here she is with the only other Livewire figure that I have. This one's also by DC Direct and is a great comic version of Livewire. Notice they have pretty much the exact same outfit and hair, etc. And then we have Supergirl, also from Superman the Animated Series, making her cameo in the new Batman Adventures. She has a total of 6 hands. So let's take a look. And I think her face looks really bad. So I don't know how it's possible. She's like more cartoony than the other figures. The bangs, the eyes, almost like they're pure white, but there is some eyes inside of there, some pupils. Little headband. She's in sort of her traditional white shirt and skirt outfit from the comics, at least of, I don't know, maybe the 90s. Single jointed elbows. Thin and brittle just like the others. The legs are a little bit bigger, single jointed knees, but the boots just look bad. It allows her to stand a little easier than the other ones. But I'd say this is probably the worst figure of the bunch. Don't like the face. I don't like how big the head is proportion-wise. It's terrible. And I really don't like the boots. The feet just look bad. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. The smile is so exaggerated. The head is just so large. The eyes look kind of weird. Not a fan of this figure. And here's this figure, broken down as far as she can go with all of her removable parts detached. Now for her accessories. She has 6 hands, 3 right hands, and 3 left hands. Here she is with the first pair of hands. These are her fists. And then her second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. And here's her third pair of hands. This is a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at her sides. And for her height, she's standing at about 5.5 inches tall, which can translate to around 14 centimeters. And the articulation. Her head can rotate side to side. The hair can actually get completely over the shoulders. She look up and down about that far, not much at all. The head's just so big compared to the rest of her body. Shoulders, ball joint goes about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. She's got a single jointed elbow. Oh, I do not like the way that feels like it's going to break if I just push it too hard. The other one moves okay. Goes in about this far, a little bit less than 90 degrees with rotation. I'm going to have to heat this thing up before I push any further, and it's just not making me feel good. Her wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. Torso seems to be one solid piece, all the way down to the legs. The legs are very restricted from the skirt. They can go forward, maybe that far, back not at all. That can't go out whatsoever. Single jointed knee. She's got a boot cut and the ankles forward and back, and that is it. Here she is with all my McFarlane's Supergirl figures, then with my DC Direct Supergirl figures, then with my Mattel Supergirl figures. The one on the far left is a similar outfit to this animated one. Here are all the Supergirl figures I have in my collection by DC Direct, McFarlane, and Mattel. Here's a look at Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Supergirl. having girls' night out, walking through the streets of Gotham City. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some of their DC Direct animated figures. Here's this Girls' Night Out 3-pack on the left, which was an Amazon exclusive, next to the Legends of the Dark Knight 3-pack on the right, which was a Best Buy exclusive, both of which are from the new Batman Adventures. Here they are, with a third wave of the new Batman Adventures figures. I mean, look at the size difference. These guys are supposed to be for the same action figure line, the same animated series. The females should not be that much smaller than the males. And here they are, with the second wave of the new Batman Adventures figures. Then, next to the first wave of the new Batman Adventures figures, this is the only wave that had a Platinum Chase variant. Seems like they're kind of going away from that with these animated figures. Here they are, with the most recent wave of Batman the Animated Series figures, Collected Build Maxi Seuss, and finally, with McFarlane's most recent Batman Beyond offerings. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're DC Direct animated figures, they're typically the 6-inch scale, even though these seem considerably smaller scale than 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my larger. Here they are with some Jazzwares Fortnite figures, and SH Figure Arts action figures. And now, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends and Mafex figures. Here they are, next to a couple of seasonings from the kitchen. And here they are, with some Mattel and Mezco DC figures. Then, with both some Jazzwares and Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some NECA and DC Direct figures. Next, with some Diamond Select toys and Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. And finally, with some McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Overall, these are some okay figures. They're way too short, way too skinny, way too brittle. Their articulation is really weak. Their accessories are almost non-existent. Their proportions are out of whack. I would say Livewire is probably my favorite of these three, followed by Poison Ivy and then Supergirl. Livewire, her proportions are pretty good, but overall she's just way too short. Poison Ivy, her head is enormous and just doesn't look that good. And Supergirl looks even worse. Her head is not quite as big, but still way too large for her body. If you look at these figures next to the new Batman Adventures figures, they're not in scale with each other. You guys say the McFarlane DC Multiverse has bad proportions and they're out of scale. Well, these make them seem like they're perfectly consistent. So as a whole, fairly disappointed. I'd give this entire set 5 out of 10. And I'm kind of leaning more toward a 4, but I'll stick with the 5. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.